If e-commerce and marketing isn't hard enough, it makes it almost harder when FTC bans UGC and reviews online. So if you've been living under a rock, the FTC has been waiting on a ruling on how should they approach people who misrepresent in UGC and reviews, and they've made some sweeping law changes that now make certain things unlawful, which makes it illegal. Now we're going to cover that in this video and some of the ramifications and how you need to be changing and pivoting. But I just want to pause for a moment and let you know, like, there's most brands online are using UGC in some form or fashion. Most brands online are obviously have reviews on their website in some form or fashion, and every Amazon listing uses reviews as well. So that means even Amazon's gonna have to make changes. That means every e-commerce business is gonna have to make changes, because if you don't, there are gonna be what's called ambulance chasers, meaning people will chase you just to abuse you not following this rule to sue you. For example, we had a brand a couple years ago that happened to them, where they had these ambulance chasers, people who want to use the law just to get a payout, and brands will do a payout because it's better than going to court and paying for legal fees, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you follow some of these rules and regulations. So what was the ruling? So the ruling was the FTC was weighing on people who were complaining that fake reviews were present on e-commerce platform. In addition to that, when brands were misrepresenting real people's opinions or falsifying and creating false reviews, fake reviews, and false and fake UGC and reviews as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the FTC's ruling, and we're going to talk about what you're going to have to do and change. This is important because if you're a brand, if you are managing a brand and you don't make certain changes, you are liable for that. So if you are on the brand side, you can get sued. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be ambulance chasers just going to all these different e-commerce platforms for the sole purpose of trying to find it so they can sue you. And you'll have two choices. Give them a payout, because every time they do this, they'll say they're willing to settle. Give them a payout, or they're going to take it to court and try to get money there as well. So better watch out. Or if you are a marketer or a freelancer or on the agency side, you can be liable if you are managing content for your brand, or you are handling getting content creators to make ads or UGC, or getting people to make reviews. You can be liable. Worst case scenario, the brand's going to ask you to pay for it, or you're going to lose that client, for example. So make sure you follow these rules very closely. So let's dive into the FTC. They're going to talk about what you have to do and change. So the first one is they made this rule back in August, and now it's coming into effect. So as of this month, so the end of October, this is now in effect. So the first one, you cannot make fake or false consumer reviews, testimonials, or celebrity testimonials. So for example, just pause here for a second. So for example, there is a platform out there that you can pay a celebrity to make a video about your product, about your business, or about your service. That makes that illegal. They have to disclose that they have personally been paid for to make that content. If they do not disclose that, you are liable and they are potentially liable. So some of those things is you cannot misrepresent it. You cannot use AI now to create fake reviews. That includes both written and video. So what that means is you can't use AI to create a fake UGC video about an experience if it's AI. You have to disclose that this is made with AI. You cannot do something that misrepresents the experience a person is giving, as well as you cannot create or sell reviews or testimonials. So for example, so you cannot pay someone to give you a review, meaning you cannot say, hey, will you go and leave me a Google review or a product review? In exchange for that, I'll give you money, a discount, or a favor. You cannot do that. It has to be completely unsolicited. You cannot buy reviews. You cannot procure reviews from outside companies or disseminate such reviews when you know that it was fake or false. So that's a bit of a loophole. So what that means is people say, oh, I didn't know it was fake or that was false. So that right there, what are the ramifications? Number one is this happens a lot with new brands or even drop shippers. You cannot pre-populate a new store or a new product with a bunch of fake reviews. If they catch you, you will get sued and you will get fined. I see this a lot with drop shippers that they'll create a new product or a new store, and then magically overnight, they've got 47 5-star positive reviews. You cannot do that anymore. You will get sued, okay? Or you cannot pay people, or as we'll see in a second, you cannot get insider reviews or testimonials. So here's the next one. You cannot buy positive or negative reviews. So you cannot work with companies who buy reviews. or that for some incentive give people something in exchange for a positive review. You cannot also use insiders to get those. So for example, you and your employees cannot leave a review without disclosing that you work for the company. You cannot get your friends and family to go leave a review if they haven't actually tried the product or service without disclosing it. And that's the key phrase here, is they have to have had some kind of actual experience with it. So if they don't, you cannot leave it without disclosing that they have some kind of connection. Same thing with officers, managers, employees, agents. They must have had the experience and actually used it themselves. So that's key. So if you want to ask people to leave a review, you can ask all day long, but it needs to be from people who've actually used the product or the service. Otherwise, if they're doing it just because they're a friend or family member, they have to disclose it. Next one, and this happens a lot too, you cannot use company-controlled websites, review websites, to make your product look more attractive. We see this all the time especially with affiliates or other brands, where they will have a review website or review page or advertorial that they will be reviewing other products, but their product obviously is rated #1 among those review listings, or their product is obviously the best buy. You have to disclose that if you own that website. So very simple, you have to put a disclaimer on that page somewhere at the bottom of the footer that is actually owned by this company and they own that product. This is a big one, you cannot do review suppression. I see this all the time. Every Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce does review suppression and is now illegal. So you cannot suppress reviews. You cannot use legal threats, physical threats, intimidation, or certain false public accusations to prevent or remove negative consumer review. So what that means is you cannot, using these review platforms, not show negative reviews, because what that does is it's false and misleading. So what that means is now you're going to have a healthy mix of both positive and negative reviews on your product pages. On Amazon, they do a really good job of this, where they will not review ratings whatsoever. But platforms, on other e-commerce platforms that you own, you have the ability to control what reviews are shown. It will now make that illegal. You cannot suppress negative reviews, which is problematic, right? For some of you guys whose products aren't that great and you have a lot of negative reviews, what that means is if they catch you, you will get sued either by the person or the FTC will come after you. Now, it won't be right away, but that's problematic, because that's what it's going to do, is it's going to force people that don't have good products and good experiences, going to force them to level up. For the people that do have good products and experiences that for the most part get great reviews, they don't have anything to worry about because they already have great products. Next one, you cannot use fake social media indicators. So you cannot use badges that are fake. You cannot, for example, I see this a lot with brands where they will fake use Better Business Bureau, rated 10 out of 10 Better Business Bureau, but it's completely fake. You cannot do that anymore. If you get caught, you will get sued or you will get fined by the FTC. Or you cannot use other third-party companies to buy followers, buy likes, by comments to make it look or to facilitate that it looks like you're bigger than you actually are. You will get sued, okay? Or they call it bot hijacking. So to kind of sum this up, this also relates to UGC, meaning if you're using a UGC content creator and they didn't physically actually use the product, you will get in trouble. And if they're not using it, they have to disclose that this was an ad, it was a paid thing, or you incentivize them to create that review, that UGC. So this has a lot of problematic situations. So let's kind of recap. First is you can't screen out negative content anymore and negative reviews. You can't do that. It'll get you fined. You have to be transparent with how you collect user-generated content. So you have to put that, if it's like a user-generated content, you need to put that in the actual ad copy, either in the video or actually in the text. Again, you could be liable. FTC now has zero tolerance for fake content. That includes both written and video. So what that means is there's a few things you can do. Number one is it would actually be a really good strategy to start making systems and strategies to collect real customer generated content. So content from your actual customers. There's many ways that you can do that, but now it's going to become even more important to do that because then it's from real people. Or you're going to have to double down on asking your customers to actually make content for you. You can hire them, for example, because then that's okay, because if they actually use your product, your service, and they like it, that is okay. Also, what this impacts is no AI video reviews, no more celebrity endorsements if they haven't actually used the product. But if they have used the product and they like it, it's all free game now. Like I think I already mentioned, you can't screen out negative reviews anymore. You can't create fake reviews as well. You can still use copy, you can say whatever you want, but you can't create fake reviews and pre-populate your pages with that, pre-populate images with that. You can't do that anymore as well. So what that means is going forward, if you choose to accept this, you have to be above board. But if you don't follow this, just know you are liable. You may not be caught tomorrow, you may not be caught in 3 months, but there's gonna be a lot of ambulance chasers running around trying to catch people because there's a big payday they could have, because otherwise that you have to pay them out to keep hush hush essentially. So make sure you tread very lightly. Now we have internal mentorship group where we're helping our brands navigate this. It's called the D2C Dojo. We have 33 other brands in there right now. It's for brands who are making over $10,000 a month and they need help scaling. Like I said, there's brands in there who have just launched. There's brands in there who have scaled. Now they're doing 6 figures a month. We talk about how to create ads, creative strategy, how to run your store, how to scale your store, how to be profitable. So that sounds really interesting to you. Click the link in the description and make sure you navigate this new ruling by the FTC if you're in America very carefully. I'd recommend staying above board. See you in the next video.